بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Welcome to this video, which is the third part of my episodes on effective student assessment. Today, inshallah, I'll cover the exam worksheet as a tool for documenting the whole assessment process. This is my outcomes today for this session. We will revise the assessment and the learning cycles. Then we will recognize the importance of exam worksheet, and finally we will identify the component of exam worksheet each one by one. Let us start by talking about the assessment and the learning cycle. This is the learning cycle, which starts by identifying the learning outcomes. This is followed by the plan for learning and teaching, and finally the feedback and assessment. You can, after finishing the feedback and the assessment, re-identify the outcomes or revise your plan for learning and teaching. So this is a loop which need to be closed. From this cycle, I developed another cycle, which is the assessment cycle, that starts by the purpose of assessment, then again revising the intended learning outcomes for each exam, then developing the test blueprint, then item selection, item construction according to both test blueprint and the learning outcomes which to be covered in this exam. Then the test administration, marking, grading, and finally the assessment of the assessment or evaluation of the assessment through the item analysis. Again, this is assessment loop need also to be closed. So, for example, after item analysis, I may need to review some of my items or review the test blueprint and the learning outcomes to ensure that the questions in the exam is in alignment with the learning outcomes and that what was written in the test blueprint is in the exam. Now we will just list the 6 steps for standardizing student assessment, just revising them. As we mentioned in some of my videos before that, each of these steps will be included in a separate video for each one. Starting by identifying the purpose of the test. Number 2, identifying the learning outcomes to be assessed in this test. Then analyzing the course content, followed by designing the test blueprint or table of specification. Number 5, selecting and constructing test items and administering the test. And finally, evaluation of the test using item analysis. And by the way, this was my CMCL FAMR project from the years 2010 to 2012. Why exam worksheet? Why we need to develop and document our exam in this exam worksheet? First, exam worksheet is a tool for documenting the whole process of assessment for all our exam. Why we need to document the assessment? We can provide this exam worksheet to the accrediting body during self-study visit as one of the good practice of student assessment process. Also, if you want to do either internal or external verification of student achievement, the exam worksheet will facilitate this process. And again, both internal and external verification of student achievement is one of the requirements of any accrediting body, either national or international. Finally, you can include the exam worksheet in your course portfolio. So these are the 4 important issues related to the importance of exam worksheet. Last part of this video is component of exam worksheet, and let us make this session like hand-on workshop how to fill the exam worksheet. And by the way, the exam worksheet, you will find a link for it below this video on my YouTube channel. Feel free to download it and use it in your examination. The exam worksheet like a summary for the 6th step of effective student assessment. Start by the first page is the general information about the exam. And by the way, this exam worksheet was part of my CMSCL FAMER project. The first page is the general information about the exam, including institution, college, department, all general information. But I just make stress on number 9 and 10. Number 10, I intended to write it, type of assessment, just to remind myself and you that our exam should include both summative and formative assessment. And inshallah, we will have a session about summative and formative assessment and the difference between them. Number 10 also, type of questions. I intended to write the types to remind also me and yourself we need to use a variety of items type in the written exam, like MCQ, whatever its type A, extending matching type R, MCQ, essay, long or short essay. There is a number of questions and duration of exam. Second part is the learning outcomes checklist. Include a simple checklist for evaluating the learning outcomes. And let us emphasize here that in the exam worksheet for each exam, we will just make this checklist only for the learning outcomes that will be assessed in this exam, not for all learning outcomes of the course. This is very important for us. So just check that your outcomes fulfill these criteria. Then another thing which I think it is very important to you and will help you when you start the process of evaluating the achievement of learning outcomes. Here, this is 5 domains as mentioned by NCAA in Saudi Arabia. Again, this is the learning outcomes which are included in this test only, not for the whole course. So this says this will be K1, K2, K3, C1, C2. Maybe you have some interpersonal. If you have, it is difficult to have in the written exam. So write the learning outcomes here, and write here the number of questions which will cover these outcomes and of which type, MCQ, say, matching, whatever. So when we will go to the step of evaluating the achievement of learning outcomes, it will be easy because for each outcome you will have here the number of questions that covers this outcome in your exam. Okay? This is the learning outcomes. Go to the third step of exam worksheet, which is test blueprint. And also, inshallah, we will have a video for writing learning outcomes, designing test blueprint, and for the fourth step, inshallah. I prepare a sample Excel sheet for designing the test blueprint. After finalizing this sheet, you need to transfer the question, its types, and the number here in this Word doc. Here you will write the topic, and this topic is covered in which course learning outcomes. Then write the contact hour for this topic, total number of MCQ question, total number of matching question, its type, whatever, recall or reasoning, total number of MCQ and matching essay question, short essay and long essay. So this is the test blueprint. After this, I put here a checklist for evaluating MCQ construction. After you, and inshallah, in the process of developing this exam worksheet, I'll add inshallah a checklist for matching, another checklist for essay to be complete one inshallah. The checklist include, and again, inshallah, we will have a session for writing MCQ. We have 9 items for whole item checklist for evaluating the whole item, 6 for the STEM, and 10 for alternatives. Here we have an important issue that I included it in the exam worksheet. We need to make this exam worksheet a formal document. So at this moment of the exam worksheet, you need to sign it from the assessment coordinator in the department and the course director, and also from the body which is responsible for overseeing the assessment process in your college. This may be assessment center, for example, or assessment unit, or medical education department, or the quality and accreditation unit. But we need to formalize it by this way. Okay? Then lastly, we have the item analysis indices and report, and already we have a video for item analysis on my YouTube channel. This is the item analysis indice, which is prepared by Dr. Mona Sheikh, who are the head of medical education department in College of Medicine, Imam Abdurrahman bin Faisal University in Saudi Arabia. And I included this indices in the exam worksheet after her permission. Yeah, if you go to the video, you will find some details about the interpretation of item analysis. After interpretation of the item analysis of the MCQ exam, you need to report this in the item analysis report. That include total number of questions, appropriate questions which need revision, exam reliability, and for the questions that need revision, you find here the number of questions and why it need to be revised. And again, to make it official, to be signed from this page, to sign from the assessment coordinator, course director, and the assessment center, or the assessment unit, or medical education, or quality and accreditation unit. So this is the exam worksheet that we need to use it for. Number one, documentation of the whole assessment process in your department for all courses. To use it as a good practice for the assessment that could be submitted to the accrediting body, whatever it is, national or international. Also, it will facilitate the process of internal and external verification of student achievement. And finally, you can include it in the course portfolio. So today, alhamdulillah, we revised the assessment and learning cycles, the importance of exam worksheet, and finally the component of exam worksheet, which again you will find the link for it below this video in my channel too. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it will be of benefit for you for the assessment process in your department. Again and again, feel free to use this exam worksheet, and I welcome any comment about it, about this video. If you like this video and find it of benefit, kindly share it with your colleague, like it, subscribe in my channel. See you soon, inshallah, in another video about effective student assessment. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.